I Archana Oinam. I English ki Ozan. Hello students. Today we are going to do a new lesson from your English course book, chapter number 8. And the name of the lesson is The Earth's Envoy. Now before we move into what the lesson is about, I'll show you a picture. Now what does this look like? This is a picture of our universe. It's a vast expanse, and you have learned a lot about this in your geography. You have learned your stars, your planets, the 8 planets, the satellites, the Milky Way, the galaxies. Isn't it wonderful? Just looking at it, just seeing it, or say imagine just observing the stars, the twinkling stars in the night from your window. What do you feel? It's very beautiful, and not only that, it's something fascinating. You just sit and you imagine how beautiful it is. If you might be wishing, sometimes you might wish like, if only I could go to the stars, or if only I could touch it. Or if only I had wings to fly up in the sky. Do you ever think like that? Akogi universe urakanda yengune akogi sela akogi planets akogi stars akogi phazaraba si mayam se uba matamda as ai atiyada paininge kaina khandrane khaliko. Is it possible? God, do you think that we can fly in the sky, in the universe, in the vast expanse, in the space? Can we fly? Were we able to fly? Or in the future or in the past, have we ever been to the space? Have we ever been to the moon? Can we go and touch the stars? It seems to be a wild imagination, isn't it? But my dear students, you all must be aware, and for those of you who are not aware, we are going to have this lesson where we are going to see the impossible made possible by men. Yes, we have been to the moon, we have been to the space, and we have had all this achievement, and all this is because of the development in science and technology. Man has set its foot on moon, isn't it? And not only that, we have been to space. And who went to space? That we are going to see in this lesson number 8, under the title, The Earth's Envoy. Envoy means messenger. Paumi haiba maiteiron dati ko prithvi ki paumi, prithvi ki pauma paupuruba mi. So we are going to talk about a person who went from the earth to wander around the space and see what it was like. And here we are going to talk about the first man on space, that is Yuri Gagarin. You might have heard his name. I'm very sure all of you are well aware of his name. The very moment I say Yuri Gagarin, something must have clicked in your mind, and that is, he was the first cosmonaut, isn't it? Ahanba mi space da chatluba ahanba Russian cosmonaut tuni Yuri Gagarin had. And hek haiba matamda, the first thing kona koini hana khangam doisi karino, asi Yuri Gagarin takre hairamgani na koina. You might have seen many films about him in television, or you might have read about him in your books or anything. And today in this lesson, we are going to learn about his journey, his flight. Okay. Now, Yuri Gagarin was the first man on space. And who was the first man who landed on the moon? You might have heard the name Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Who were they? They were the men who went to moon, isn't it? The men who took their first step on the moon. And today we are going to learn about Yuri Gagarin. Okay. So he was the first man on space. He was the first Russian cosmonaut who orbited the Earth. And what about him? Let us see who he was and how he took that flight, when he took that flight, and when did he come back? What happened after he returned? Let us see. So Yuri Gagarin was born on 9th March 1934, and he was the son of a carpenter. He was, at a very young age, he was very interested in flying also, and so he volunteered himself and learned how to fly aircrafts in the Saratov Flying Club. And he died on 27th March 1968. Now, as he grew up, he was fascinated. He did many odd jobs, but still he was selected. He got into becoming this cosmonaut, and something happened in his life that something new happened in his life that changed his entire career. And what was that? Let us see. He was the first cosmonaut selected to fly where? Not to fly an aeroplane, but to fly up high in the space. And it was in the year 1961 where 12th April, where Yuri Gagarin took off his rocket and he orbited the Earth. He completed one orbit round the Earth, and then he came back. So let us see his journey. Now, the capsule in which he traveled was named Vostok 1. The chief designer of Yuri Gagarin's spaceship Vostok 1 was Korolev. He was very excited and he was very, very tensed about the whole flight. So the day, that is 12th April, he was very much present and he kept on, inquiring about Yuri Gagarin. He wanted to make sure that everything, the space flight, the journey, the cosmonaut himself was all fit and fine. So he was very tensed and he kept on repeatedly inquiring Gagarin. He wanted to make him feel comfortable. So Korolev was very, very tensed that very day. And to remind you, he was the chief designer of the spaceship in which Yuri Gagarin was to travel. Where? To the space, the vast expanse space, isn't it? So he continued asking Gagarin, how are you feeling? Do you want to listen to music? This and that. He kept on repeatedly asking, making Gagarin feel comfortable. But at the same time, on the other hand, Gagarin was getting an opportunity for his life, once in a while opportunity. It happens only once in a lifetime, and he was very excited about it. And he was very happy also. It was like a dream come true. So he was excited. Then he responded to the chief designer that he was feeling okay. He wanted to listen to music and he was in a very, very light, a light moment. And as Gagarin was about to enter to his space in his spaceship, he gave a very warm speech to the fellow citizen that he was going out in the space and he wished everyone a very happy day. So one after another, the preparations were in full swing until the chief designer was to announce the lift off order. So it was a very, very, it was a very hectic day that day. Yamna chinba numit ama oirami, mayam se thabak mathang tawrami, amasu mai mathau yamna chilami, chief designer to mathau yam chilami mahaksu, until mahak the lift off haiba order se laudri baba mahak thabak yamna chilami. And then when everything was set up, everything was in place, what happened? The designer gave the final warning, that is ready for lift off. And then as the word lift off was announced in the mic, what happened? Everything was closed and finally the spaceship was ready to take off in the space. And this all happened in the year 1961, 12th April. So don't forget this day. This day on 12th April 1961, mankind created history. Yuri Gagarin created history by going in the space, taking one orbit round the Earth and coming back safely. Okay, one orbit round the Earth on 12th April 1961. And who took that one orbit? Yuri Gagarin. And he created history. So after making one orbit, it came back to Earth. And how long did it take? It took 108 minutes. That is 1 hour, 48 minutes. Okay, it was a single orbit around the Earth. And it was a history. It was a landmark. Everyone was excited. The whole world was excited. That meant that the first Russian cosmonaut, Yuri Gagarin, safely took one orbit round the Earth in the space and came back to Earth unharmed without any casualties. Okay, soktana, asokpa amatta yaudana, akai atoy amatta yaudana, amuk round, ama prithvi koi raga. How many minutes? 108 minutes, 1 hour, 48 minutes. Koi raga. The whole world was excited. And everywhere, in every nook and corner of the world, what was the name that rang about? Gagarin and space. Gagarin and space. The only news in the newspaper and radio channels and TV channels were Yuri Gagarin and space flight. So like everyone was talking about it. So after taking one safe orbit around the Earth, it came back to the land. And where did it land? Where did his spaceship land? It landed in a field not far from the city of Saratov. And as I have mentioned in the beginning, what happened? Yuri Gagarin has a close connection with Saratov because he learned how to fly planes as a cadet of the Saratov Flying Club. So it was a close connection, and he felt very happy about it, that from the very place where he started to learn how to fly planes by volunteering himself as a cadet of the Flying Club, he was very happy that when he had created a landmark, he came back again to the same club, and he was really, he felt happy, he felt honored, and he was indebted to this Saratov Flying Club. Mahaka yamna mari lainaba yamna mahana aeroplane ga paibatam giba mafam Saratov Flying Club haiba jaga sida amuk hanna tarakpaduda mangonda nuaisaba mapueb mana pairurido adugi Saratov Flying Club tagi haigibane ba paiba ko aduna mana yamna he felt indebted ko mana yam lamantu lena khanjai ko. He landed near the Volga River, and the day was also very pleasant. It was a very pleasant day. So he landed, and when he came out of the spaceship, he was wearing a bright orange suit. Look at the picture. What type of dress does an astronaut or cosmonaut, what do they wear? So with wearing a bright orange suit, as he came out of his spaceship, what happened? He saw an elderly woman, a small girl, and a calf. What type of calf? A dapple calf. Dapple calf means calf with a round black spot. Amuba round adumina design masada yekpa adugumba sani pictures the lady. So this three person, an elderly woman, a small girl, and a round spotted calf was standing there, and they were shocked to see a huge thing landing on the ground, and out of that big thing, a bright orange suit was coming out. So they were astonished. They were frightened. Kiram me komlarong machu set pa jiba ma thole hai bai tap them koi kiram me. A bright orange suit, a bright orange thing was coming towards them, and they were frightened. But later they recognized that he was none other than the famous cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. And when they realized, they hugged and kissed him. They welcomed him. They gave him the warmest welcome, and they were very happy that someone from their country was the first person to go into the space. And it was a happy moment. And as we have mentioned earlier, Gagarin was the name of the whole world. He had created history. The rest of the world was also very happy. All the other countries also, they rejoiced at the moment. And not only that, when Gagarin was given a very warm reception, he was given a very warm welcoming by all the people. Many people gathered at the Red Square. So many people gathered at the Red Square. They gave Yuri Gagarin a very warm welcome. Everyone was very happy that a Russian, that someone from their country created history, created a landmark in the history of mankind. Not only the Russians, many other countries also joined to welcome Yuri, and those the countries were Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, India, Ceylon, or Sri Lanka as we know today, Great Britain, the United States. So these are the countries who welcome Yuri. So don't forget these countries who gave a warm welcome to Yuri Gagarin. And to remind once again, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, India, Sri Lanka, Great Britain, and United States. So these were the countries who, welcomed Yuri Gagarin. And not to forget, the whole of the Soviet Union was also very happy. They were excited that someone from their country had created history in mankind. Okay, so we have seen how Yuri Gagarin went to space, and we should not forget that he was a very brave man, a man who had desires to do something extraordinary. Okay, so see, he had the ability to achieve and, to do, he had that willpower to do something which others have not done. And this is what we learn from this lesson. We have set foot on, on the moon, we have gone to space, and we have succeeded the mission to Mars also. And how is this possible? It is all possible because of our hard work, our dedication, and our sincerity. So if Yuri Gagarin had that willpower and had that ability to succeed and go to space, if Neil Armstrong could gather all his courage and, take his land on the moon, why can't you? So, my dear students, what we learn from this lesson is all of us should be hardworking, we should be dedicated, and we should be sincere in our work. Only then, it doesn't matter if it is the space, if it is the moon, or if it is in our exams, we all have to work hard, we all have to be dedicated, and we have to have our firm determination, and we have to work towards our aim in life. Only then we can succeed, we can achieve success, and we can create history. Okay, thank you.